What's up, guys? This is Whiskey Alpha 3 Alpha Alpha Charlie. Welcome back to the channel. Today's Amateur Radio Weekly Net. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, turn on the notification bell, subscribe to my other channels, and without further ado, let's get started. So we'll wait for the net to start. And yeah, I'm off screen, right here, to the side.
W3OS. I'm operating W3OC. Net control over the Tours Amateur Radio Club net. Radio net meets every Monday at 8 p.m. on the 146.73 MHz WA3 BBD repeater for the Gateway FM Association. Membership in the Tours ARC is not required to check into this net as all radio amateurs are welcome. Like information about the Tours Amateur Radio Club, you can write to us at P.O. Box 225, Greenock, PA, zip code 15047. We're also on the Internet's World Wide Web at www.trarc.net. Radio Club meetings are held the third Tuesday of every month except July to December, starting at 7 p.m. We're open to separate check-ins. There's emergency or priority traffic at this time. I want to have a list of some a radio amateur recently passed away. I have two on my list tonight.
Good evening. 8:01 p.m.
Thank you. Okay, I found these sonic keys. One was listed last week up on the Breachers net. Rich Finch, Whiskey 3 Radio Kilo Tango, passed away recently. And this one was posted by the Skyview email reflector here just recently. Ron Jessup, Kilo Alpha 3 Bravo, Bravo Sugar, both passed away. So now we're going to take a standby in remembrance of these two fine radio hymns. Any members of the Two Rivers ARC Board of Directors wish to check into the Two Rivers net?
W3OC. W3OC, please recognize Kilo Bravo 3 Sugar Tango, Bob and Elizabeth Township. Evening check, evening to the net, no traffic. W3OC. W3OC, please recognize Whiskey India 3 Romeo. Roger and White Oak. Good evening, Chuck. Good evening to all on the net. I have no further comment.
W3OC. Please copy Kilo Bravo 3, Uniform Whiskey Charlie, Stephen Boston. Good evening, Chuck, and everyone else on the net. No other traffic.
W3OC. W3OC, please copy November 3, Golf Hotel Tango, Bill, Jefferson Hills. No traffic. Good evening to all.
Okay, thank you. I got Kilo Bravo 3 Sugar Tango, Whiskey India 3 Radio, Kilo Bravo 3 Uniform Whiskey Charlie, and November 3 Golf Hotel Tango. And the other members of the Board of Directors wish to check in.
mobile portable outside of Allegheny County.
Take steps now to protect tender plants from the cold. To prevent freezing and partial bursting of outdoor water pipes, they should be wrapped, trimmed, or allowed to drip slowly.
Alright.
Those that have a ground sprinkler system should drain them and cover above ground pipes to protect them.
Delta 3 Alpha Alpha, quarter boy, Alpha, no traffic.
W3OC. W3OC, this is Whiskey Alpha 3 Alpha Hotel Charlie. Antonio Sarah from Pittsburgh. Good evening to you, Chuck, and those on the net. No further comments.
W3OC. Please copy. Kilo Charlie 3, India Romeo, Foxtrot, Bonded Overbrook. No traffic at this time. Portable. W3OC, WE3 TBD, Andy West Mifflin on the portable.
Okay, that should be all.
Okay, thank you. I got Kilo Bravo 3 Victor Sierra Papa, Kilo Bravo 3 Oscar X-Ray Hotel, Kilo Bravo 3 Lima November Charlie Mobile, Alpha Delta 3 Alpha Alpha Portable, Whiskey America 3 Alpha Hotel Charlie, Kilo Charlie 3 India Radio Foxtrot Portable, and Whiskey America 3 Papa Bravo Delta Portable. Anybody else mobile portable or outside of Allegheny County?
W3OC. Please copy Kilo Alpha 3 Foxtrot Whiskey Quebec. Jeff in Greensburg. Good evening, everyone.
Okay, Kilo Alpha 3 Fox Whiskey Quebec. Excuse me, anybody else mobile portable or outside of Allegheny County?
W3OC. W3OC, please recognize Kilo Charlie 3 Papa India November, Jim from Munhall.
Okay, Kilo Charlie 3 Papa India November. Okay, thank you. Alrighty, now we'll open up for general check-in. Anyone else hasn't checked in, hasn't done test? Please call now.
W3OC. Hello, Chuck. This is November 3, Papa CDF Farm in the South Hills. W3OC. W3OC, please copy Whiskey 3 Sierra Hotel Foxtrot. Steve and Victor and Heights. Good evening, Chuck, and everyone on the net. I had a brief announcement about the Wednesday night net, if you have time for that.
W3OC. Here is Kilo 3 Hotel India Romeo, K3HIR, Merle, and Elizabeth Township. Good evening, Chuck. Good evening to the net. No comment.
W3OC. Alright, Kilo Bravo 3, Yankee Indian November, Rich from McKeesport. Hello to everybody on the net. No further comments.
W3OC. Please copy Whiskey 3 Sierra Sierra Sierra, Sean, Liberty Borough. Good night. Good evening, Chuck, and everyone on the net.
W3OC. Kilo 3 Juliet Hotel Tango, John and Greentree, no comment. W3OC. This is Kilo Alpha 3, Kilo Sierra Papa Jim and Carnegie. W3OC. This is Kilo Alpha 3, Kilo Echo Victor, Denny and Plum Borough. Good evening, Chuck. Everybody on the net. I have a short announcement. W3OC.
W3OC, please recognize Kilo Charlie 3 India Romeo Golf. This is Ed McKeesport. Good evening, Chuck, and everyone on the net. No comments.
W3OC. November 3 Zulu Charlie Hotel. No comment.
W3OC. W3OC, please recognize Kilo Charlie 3, November Foxtrot, Mike and Scott Township. Good evening to Chuck and everyone on the net. I hope everyone had a happy Thanksgiving. No traffic.
W3OC. Please copy Whiskey Alpha 3 Echo Radio Tango,
to everyone on the net.
Hey, thank you. I got it that time. Thank you. Got November 3 Papa Sierra uniform. Whiskey 3 Sierra Hotel Foxtrot with an announcement. Kilo 3 Hotel India Radio. Merle, I hope you're doing okay. Kilo Bravo 3 Yankees in November. Whiskey 3 Sugar. Kilo 3 Juliet Hotel Tango. Kilo Alpha 3 Kilo Sugar Papa. Kilo Alpha 3 Kilo Echo Victor with an announcement. Kilo Charlie 3 India Radio Golf. November 3 Zulu Charlie Hotel. Kilo Charlie 3 November Fox and Whiskey America 3 Echo Radio Tango. Anybody else, please?
W3OC. This is Kilo Bravo 3. Uniform Quebec Radio. Mark Wilkins Township. No traffic for the net tonight. And good evening to everyone on the net.
W3OC.
This is Bob, W3 Sierra, Yankee Radio in White Oak. Good evening, Charlie. Good evening to everyone on the net. No traffic.
W3OC. This is November 3, Tango Alpha Yankee. Jeff in North Versailles. Good evening to you, Chuck, and everybody in the net this evening. No further comments.
Okay, got Kilo Bravo 3 Uniform Quebec Radio, Whiskey 3 Sierra Yankee Radio, and November 3 Tango Alpha Yankee. Anybody else? Hey, thank you all. Okay, thank you for joining us this evening. Some general announcements regarding Two Rivers activities. The Two Rivers ARC has its Santa next breakfast. It's held on the second Saturday of every month at Dice Cornerstone Diner. That's located at 620 Long Run Road in McKeesport, Pennsylvania. Our exam session, which was scheduled here for the second Tuesday, has been canceled. Okay, let's see. And the Two Rivers ARC Christmas party is coming up on December the 13th at the Interchange Lounge up there in the Jefferson Hills area. The Two Rivers members planning on attending should contact Del W3 Delta Tango Papa and let them know if you're coming and how many guests you're going to be bringing. You can reach Del via email to Peters at Delta Tango DT at Verizon.net 412-398-1092 412-398-1092. Okay, that's pretty much what I have for the Radio Club stuff. Let's see, Whiskey 3 Sierra Hotel Foxtrot, go with your number.
Okay, thank you, Chuck. This is Whiskey 3 Sierra Hotel Foxtrot. This is Steve, the Activities Director for Two Rivers Amateur Radio Club. I'd like to welcome anyone who's listening tonight on the net. We have a Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Gavnet on 146.550 Simplex FM. And we cover all sorts of topics, and everyone is welcome. You don't have to be a member of the club. Just show up, and it's a fun time. It's a fun time, and winter's going to be coming, so we'll be indoors a little more. And we'd like to see this Wednesday night cabinet grow. That's 8 p.m. Wednesday nights on 146.550 FM. So hope to see you there. All right, back to net.
Hey, thank you, Steve, W3SHF from W3OC. Okay, I'm looking at other things that are coming up, or announcements, I should say. The KDK 100th anniversary celebration is pretty much winding down. What I understand during the morning and afternoon hours. They're going to be on the air this evening on the Free Shooters net at 9 o'clock over there on 28480. I think the caller going to be K3K. So that'll be before the net. I think, and definitely for after the appreciators net. Okay, I also see that the QSL cards and the commemorative certificates are being delivered. Thank you to members from the Skyview Radio Club for that. Okay, let's see. Looking on a regular items of listings up there, the announcement that Radio Shack has been purchased by an outfit called Retail E-Commerce Ventures. But of course, it's all according to the Airwell's website. It says there's no plans to open up the old retail stores that are currently closed. Okay, I'm looking at the ARL's website to give you some headlines. FCC Chairman Haj Pai is departing the FCC. We had apparently over the weekend we had a powerful solar flare and coronal mass ejection occurred on the HF band on the 29th. The ARL has asked the FCC to allow the 3.4 gigahertz operation until the spectrum is occupied. These are all headlines. Coast Guard prepares to discontinue its voice watchkeeping. I looked at that just briefly. There's an article in the Federal Register about that. Of course, last week we announced Universal Radio has announced its closing. Okay, and of course the Universal Radio. Oh yeah, I mentioned that just now. Okay, that's kind of what the highlights of things that I have found. The radio band appears to be pretty active over the weekend with the C3 Worldwide DX contest CW. Every place I looked, I saw lots and lots and lots of signals. So hopefully many of you managed to get in and work some of those needed DX Century Club countries.
Good evening, 8:17 p.m.
I think I missed anything. Okay. Anybody need any repeats for anything they've heard? Just W3OC. Okay, I'll be on here with Newsline in about a minute. I guess gotta go flip a couple switches. By the way, everybody's interested, I found out the problem from last week. I had a broken cable, so believe it or not, it was broke right in the middle of the audio patch cable. Okay, so I got a new one. Alright, let's switch on the air and see what Newsline's got tonight. W3OC.
Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2248 with a release date of Friday, November 27th, 2020 to follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The following is a QST. New satellite access for emergencies in India. Hams in Israel plan 9 nights of a special activity, and Ham Radio University goes virtual. All this and more as Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2248 comes your way right now. From around the world, this is Newsline, Amateur Radio's independent on-the-air news and bulletin service. And now reporting from Valparaiso, Indiana.
Oh, looks like I messed up. W3OC. We have one more announcement to announce. Kilo Alpha 3 Kilo Echo Victor, please go with your announcement.
Has that been KB3, KBH check?
Negative. Kilo Alpha 3 Kilo Echo Victor. Okay, alright. I'll start up Newsline again. Maybe Denny will check back with you. My apologies. I should have picked it up earlier. Thank you.
Here's Paul Brown, WD9GCO. Our top story brings word of a major step forward in communications for eastern India, where cyclones often rip through, destroying communities and communications.
Amateur radio operators there have gained access to a major asset in the sky to help them with emergency communications. Graham Kemp, VK4BB, has the details.
The West Bengal Radio Club and the Indian Academy of Communication and Disaster Management have installed the capability to communicate with amateur radio satellites from the club station in India. The Radio Club Secretary, Ambarish Nagbiswas, BU2JFA, reported that hams recently used the setup to contact many amateurs in southern India, as well as in more than 15 countries. He said the capabilities will be especially important during natural disasters such as cyclones, when hams generally use VHF and HF radios, but often face propagation issues during these emergencies. Ambarish Nagbiswas, who is also chairman of the Disaster Management Academy, writes, and I quote, "It is the first satellite communication setup in our entire eastern India," end quote. And he called it a success of the team of the two organizations working together. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Graham Kemp, VK4BB, in IARU 3.
In the U.S., organizers of Ham Radio University, who have been preparing for the 22nd annual all-day event in January, are taking the program online instead. We have details from Jim Dameron and 8TMW.
With COVID-19 restrictions preventing the annual gathering of the amateur radio operators on Long Island, New York, the Ham Radio University organizers are adapting the agenda to take place as a virtual conference. Ham Radio University will be held from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. on the 9th of January 2021 as a go-to webinar video conference on the Internet. HRU will also serve as the online convention of the NYC Long Island section of the ARRL. The agenda features 14 presentations, from the basics of remote station operation over the Internet to software-defined radios, emergency communications, and the nuts and bolts of HF operating. This year's HRU is being presented in memory of its founder, Phil Lewis, N2MUN, who became a silent key earlier this year. Advanced registration begins on December 15th. For additional details, visit hamradiouniversity.org. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Jim Dameron, N8TMW.
A store that was an Ohio mainstay with a specialty in shortwave radio equipment is closing its doors. Stephen Kinford, N8WB, has more details.
Owners Fred Osterman, N8EKU, and Barbara Osterman, KC8BWI, have announced their retirement and the closing of their longtime business, Universal Radio, which they operated for nearly 4 decades. A report in the SWLING Post noted that the couple were big supporters of amateur radio clubs and other nonprofit organizations over the years. The company website posted a message from the couple which notes that even though their current location in Worthington, Ohio is closing on November 30th, the company will fulfill all existing orders and continue to close out its inventory. The company will also maintain its website for the meanwhile. The message concludes by saying that between operations at Universal Radio and before that Radio Shack, quote, "It has been a privilege to have a continuous career in the fascinating field of radio since 1969, end quote. Universal was founded in 1942 by F.R. Gibbs, W8IJ, in downtown Columbus, Ohio, and was known as a specialist in shortwave and amateur equipment, including Malin, Drake, Collins, and Hammerland. Barbara and Fred became the third owners in 1982 after buying Universal from Thomas Harrington, W8OMB, who had acquired it after F.R. Gibbs became a silent key. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Stephen Kinford, N8WB.
Speaking of Hammerland radios, do you remember them? Perhaps you even own and still use one. This next story from Mike Askins, KE5CXP, is for you. By the time the Hammerland Radio Hullabaloo special event, Station W4H went off the air, the 11 operators from the High Appalachian Mountain Amateur Radio Society had logged contacts and countless stories. The 3-day event between the 19th and 21st of November was a celebration of the November 19th birthday of company founder Oscar Hammerland in 1861. The operation also gave a respectful nod to the presence of Hammerland's radio factory right there in Mars Hill, North Carolina, between 1951 and 1973. Mostly, however, the special event was a celebration of the famous Hammerland radios, some of which were pressed into service to make contacts during this successful special event. According to Ralph W4RRJ,
One operator was even using a Homeland SB600 JX17 receiver and a Johnson Viking 2 when he made his contacts using AM mode. This wasn't the only vintage equipment. Ralph said that about 1/3 of the SSB contacts were made by operators using a Collins KWM2. Ralph told Newsline the most common stories operators heard were from hams who'd regretted having sold their old Homeland radios years ago when they drifted away from amateur radio, not knowing they'd return someday. Another ham recalls growing up near the Mars Hill factory and remembering the silver dollars the company gave employees on the business's 10th anniversary. The special event also called for contacts on the Mount Mitchell 2-meter repeater, the highest repeater east of the Mississippi River, so that hams unable to get on HF could still check in. Ralph said next year's plans are even bigger. It will be the 140th anniversary of Homeland's birth and the 70th anniversary of the factory's move to Mars Hill. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Mike Askins, KE5CXP. Ralph told Newsline that in all there were 975 contacts in 49 states, 11 provinces, and 30 foreign countries. You don't always need to script a simulated emergency to sharpen your emergency preparedness. One ham radio club in Kentucky demonstrated that recently by going on air when a group of Jeep enthusiasts went off-road. Christian Kudnick, K0STH, tells us what happened.
Members of the Lake Cumberland Amateur Radio Association partnered in early November with the Summer Nights Cruise Organization for the inaugural Jeep Nationals Trail event in the backwoods of Kentucky. According to Chris Perry, KY4CKP, while 38 Jeeps had off-road adventures in a local state park, a number of Elcara operators were at remote support locations with access to the 2-meter repeater as well as their MCOM trailer. During the 3-hour event, club members tracked the progress of the event and were prepared to summon help if any vehicles broke down or any medical issues arose. Chris said the trail ran through an area where cell service is practically non-existent, so the presence of the hams was vital. A YouTube video of the adventure narrated by Brian Perry, KY4BDP, summed up the point of the whole exercise. Brian says it doesn't have to be an emergency. You can practice your emergency communication procedures in a fun event where everybody has a good time. Video of the event can be seen on the Elcara channel on YouTube. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Christian Kudnick, K0STH.
Time for you to identify your station. We are the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the WA7ABU repeater in Salem, Oregon, on Saturdays at 6 p.m. local time.
W306.
Youngsters in Iowa got a lesson in world travel and amateur radio recently, thanks to an adventurous balloon they launched as a science project. Ralph Squillace, KK6ITB, has that story.
A group of science students in Pella, Iowa, feel like they've been around the world, and in a way, they have. It took 13 days, 2 hours, and 8 minutes for the 155th graders from the Jefferson Intermediate School to complete the journey on November 18th that involved crossings over the Atlantic Ocean, the Mediterranean Sea, the Yellow Sea, and the Pacific Ocean. The students stayed home, of course, but their hearts and minds traveled with a helium-filled scientific balloon they'd launched with support from the Pella Amateur Radio Club. It was launched carrying a sky tracker with APRS that had been designed and built by Bill Brown, WB8ELK. The near-space balloon transmitted on 2 meters as it carried the call sign WB0URW-8 around the world as the students kept tabs on it on their computers and smartphones. Jim Everett, WB0URW, said that with financing from local foundations, the Pella Club has been working with students at the school for a while now, presenting various lessons in the fields of earth science and amateur radio technology. The balloon, the latest such venture, was a success. Not one to rest on its helium-filled laurels, the balloon returned home, according to Jim, only to embark on its second such journey. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Ralph Squillace, KK6ITB. Get ready for some slow scan TV. The International Space Station is scheduled to have an SSTV transmission on Tuesday, December 1st, starting at 12:30 UTC until 1825 UTC. There will be a second transmission on Wednesday, December 2nd, from 11:50 UTC until 1825 UTC. Listen for SSTV signals to be downlinked at 145.8 megahertz, plus or minus the Doppler shift. The mode of transmission is expected to be PD-120. You will be able to post your images in the online ARIS SSTV gallery. For updates on this event, follow the Twitter account with the handle @ARISS_status. Organizers of this next event in Europe aren't calling it a contest, but a celebration. It's all about AM, as Jeremy Boot, G4NJH, explains.
The coming winter has just become a little warmer in Europe. The Facebook group known as AM Amateur Radio Europe is putting the final touches to plans for its winter 2021 AM QSO party. It will run from Friday the 22nd of January at 1800 UTC until Sunday the 24th of January at 1759 UTC, between amateurs using the original ham radio voice mode. Points are awarded for each QSO and each new DXCC worked, and there are power categories that accommodate each level of the UK licence. For details, visit the AM Amateur Radio Europe Group's Facebook page. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
It looks like 2021 is almost here, and with it, two big events in Australia. Robert Broomhead, VK3DN, has the details.
There's good reason why hams in Australia can't wait to put 2020 behind them. Plans are already in the works for a SOTA Summit activating event in the Mount Hotham ski region. This would be the fifth such event, and organisers are looking for expressions of interest from SOTA members. The event would take place between the 5th and the 8th of February 2021, and no event was held this year because of the bushfires in the northeast and Gippsland. Brian, VK3BCM, asks that interested SOTA activators email him at bcmcdermott@tpg.com.au. And it'll be a big month, as the Wyong Field Day is happening on Sunday the 28th of February. The 62nd annual event in New South Wales is the Southern Hemisphere's largest amateur radio event. Radio enthusiasts from around Australia and from overseas are expected to be there. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Robert Broomhead, VK3DN.
There are two new names listed among amateurs in the Canadian Amateur Radio Hall of Fame. Jeremy Boot, G4NJH, has more details.
Congratulations to two newest inductees to the Canadian Amateur Radio Hall of Fame. Radio Amateurs of Canada and the Hall of Fame trustees have recognised Maurice-André Vigneault, V3VIG, and Doug Leach, V3XK, now a silent key, for their contributions. Maurice-André, who is the author of more than 200 published articles on amateur radio, is also the former manager of amateur radio station V3JW at the Canada Museum of Science and Technology. He's been Canada's delegate to ANSAT and to the ARIS Working Group and a member of the ARIS School Selection Committee for Canada and Latin America. At the Elmer, he also responded to the North American ice storm of 1998 as a volunteer radio operator. Doug Leach, V3XK, became silent key on the 15th of January this year. He's being recognised as a driving force behind the RAC's creation, and he served it as an acting president, a first vice president, as well as a director of its Ontario North region. Programs he initiated, such as the RAC-affiliated club program, the RAC Foundation, and the RAC audio-visual program, amongst others, have become mainstays of the RAC. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
In the world of DX, the Market Reef DX Association, OH9A, will be marking the holiday season in Finland with activity on all bands and modes as OG1 XMAS between the 29th of November and the 26th of December. QSL will be a logbook of the world and club log. In Belgium, members of Club Radio Durnal, ON4CRD, are active as OP19MSF until December 13th to focus on the work of Medics Sans Frontières, or Doctors Without Borders, for its active role during the pandemic. QSL via the Bureau or direct. In Sweden, Lars, SM3EAE, and Garan, SM5SIC, will participate in the CQ Worldwide DXCW contest as SI9AM. QSL via SM3FJF, direct, or via the Bureau. Please note that this will be the last activity from the King Chulalongkorn Memorial Amateur Radio Society's visitor station, which closes on December 1st. Be listening for special call signs from Poland, including 3Z20ARISS, HF20ISS, and HF7ISS, until December 21st. Hams there have been on the air marking the 20th anniversary of continuous operation of the amateur radio in the International Space Station. For QSL details, see QRZ for the individual call signs. Here in the U.S., the Thanksgiving holiday has just ushered in the holiday season. In some amateur radio households, however, the season doesn't arrive until Santa gets on the air. We close this week's report with, well, listen and you'll find out.
Well, boys and girls, my, how the time has flown. It's time again for the Santa Watch Net. That's right, old Santa's going to be making his rounds, and can you believe it? For the 10th year in a row, the gang at the Dewdrop Inn will be watching the radar. Join the Santa Watch Net, starting at 1800 hours Eastern Time. Well, my little elf Dave in 3NTV, he's a busy fellow, so he's taking the year off, but his little buddy John, W2JLD, he'll be sitting in a big chair and keeping track of all Santa's locations. And just like last year, and every year, Santa has the radio in his sleigh, and yeah, he might even chat with the kids again. So I'll bring all the little ones and get them checked in. Third-party traffic is always on the night list. Once again, it's the Santa Watch Net, Christmas Eve, 1800 hours Eastern on the Dewdrop Inn, Echo Link Conference Server, node number 355800. Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas from me, old Santa, and all my little elves at the Dewdrop Inn. Ho, 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 ho!
With thanks to Amateur News Weekly, AMSAT, the ARRL, Central Coast Amateur Radio Club, Chris Perry, KY4CKP, CQ Magazine, David Behar, K7DB, Facebook, Jim Emmert, WB0URW, the High Appalachian Mountain Amateur Radio Society, the Israel Amateur Radio Club, Ohio Penn DX, QRZ.com, the Radio Society of Great Britain, Radio Amateurs of Canada, shortwaveradio.de, Ralph Rongstad, Jr., W4RRJ, Shortwave Listening Post, the Soda Reflector, Southgate Amateur Radio News, Ted Randall's QSO Radio Show, the West Bengal Radio Club, WTWW Shortwave, and you, our listeners. That's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. Please send emails to our address at newsline@arnewsline.org. More information is available from Amateur Radio Newsline's only official website at arnewsline.org. For now, with Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Paul Brown, WD9GCO in Valparaiso, Indiana, saying 73. And as always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2020. All rights reserved.
Good evening. 8:39 p.m.
This is W3OC Night Control for the Two Rivers Net. That concludes this week's Newsline transmission. Okay, alrighty, before I take some check-ins, let me see if I can get this other announcement in. Kilo Alpha 3 Kilo Echo Victor, if you're still on frequency, please go with your announcement. I heard, alrighty, okay. Sorry for that. Okay, well now we'll take some late check-ins. And also, if your check-in is done, so call now.
TRARC starting Sunday evening, which will be December the 6th, 9 o'clock p.m. on the 145.47 repeater, the scanner group is going to have a special net on what you want for Christmas. So invite everybody to come over at 9 o'clock Sunday evening and take a listen and check in and let us know what you want. Find out what everybody is looking for, and maybe we'll give some ideas to some other people. That's all I have. Track back to you. KB3, KBH.
Okay, Roger. Thank you. KB3, KBH, W3ON, W3OC. Okay. All right. Anybody else wishing to check in? All right. We'll close the net out this power I show 8:41 local time, and of course, by now we've all heard the Steelers football game. I think it's been postponed now to Wednesday. So I don't know what's going on here with that, but well, what can I say? The way it is this year. With that, we're going to turn the repeater back to General Shoes. I show 30 check-ins. Everybody have a good excuse me, have a good week, and try to stay warm. It's W3OC, also known as W3ON, closing the Two Rivers Net. Good night.
Alright guys, hold on, I'm going to start a new video for this. Alrighty guys, well that is it for today's video. I'm sorry for being AFK, I had to do other things. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe. Alright, yeah, well that's it for today's video. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment. Turn on that post notification bell. Subscribe to my other channels. I'll see you next time. This is 73rd from Whiskey Alpha 3. Alpha Charlie. Peace.